All right, we're going to be talking about progressing the dip. Over the next few weeks here at Principia, we're going to be developing everyone's dips, and it's going to start with some accumulation of volume, and then we're going to go into some tempo to make sure the tendons and muscles are stronger, and then we're going to finish with some more similar to max effort type stuff, building the strength finally. All right, when we develop the dip, we must look at what muscles are primarily utilized. So if you're just looking at elbows, we're going from this position to this position in the dip. So a bend in the elbow to a straight elbow. So in order to get from here to here, I'm contracting my tricep, right? So we can assume that the tricep is going to be heavily involved, but then the opposite would be the bicep as well. So we need the bicep to be free enough to let us move into the range of motion. Next, we're going to be looking at the shoulder position. The shoulder position is extension, right? So in that dip position, I'm in shoulder extension. All right, in shoulder extension, this is the thing, the pec has to be the thing that stretches maximally, a little bit of the anterior deltoid as well. So those muscles kind of get elongated during the dip, all right? My daughter's here helping me with the video. She's actually the one behind the camera. She'll be making the edits and everything. Oh, I need this as a prop.
I don't need this right now. Okay. And action.
All right, so sorry about the interruption. So in shoulder extension, we're looking at lengthening all of this, and we're shortening the rhomboids in the middle lower trap, right? So those are kind of like all the main areas that we're focused on during the dip, which is going to mean that technique-wise, we really want to make sure we're feeling it, the pec stretch, the pec contract. The tricep might stretch and contract. It won't stretch as much. Right, the bicep will stretch, but it will probably never really contract as much as like what you know as a contraction, a shortening. And then the rhomboids back here between the shoulder blades, you should feel those muscles. All right, so setting up the Matador nice and low in the rig will allow for me to use my feet for assistance. All right, I still want to be focused on the muscles we just talked about, but I'm able to assist using my legs. So as I stand on my toes, I'm in full shoulders depressed, all right? So that means that scapula is fully down, traps are not active, and I'm supporting as much of my weight as I could tolerate in this position. If my feet are kind of in front of me or right underneath me, I'm gonna get the most support, all right? So then I can just kind of start coming down into that shoulder extension position where the elbows are going directly behind me. I wanna try to keep my chest somewhat vertical here. I don't wanna just push my butt back. Because if you notice, my shoulder didn't really go into extension there because my angle changed. All right, so I'm trying to go into shoulder extension. So I'm gonna go straight down, torso stays pretty well upright, elbows go behind me and nice and high. And I go to where I feel that deep stretch, but I'm still in control. And then I can press myself back to the top. So during the accumulation phase, I can do lots of reps from right here and be in control. And I could take one foot off the ground and make it a little harder, or I can move my feet back behind me and that will make it even harder. Happy. You're welcome. All right, so last one is I could put my feet behind me and progress this even further. So when I put my feet behind me, it's gonna put more weight into my upper body, all right? Again, taking one foot off the ground, now I'm getting closer to just using full muscle. Every time I come to that top position, don't forget the shoulder needs to go down, all right? Ideally, it doesn't elevate really throughout the range of motion, it stays down and gets pulled back. But these muscles, if they're too tight, they're gonna force you to start using your trap to get into position, right? So these need to be lengthening every rep in order to keep the shoulder in the best position possible, right? So again, this is how I do my accumulation phase, getting lots of reps, or if I'm just needing to scale because I can't physically do it with my body weight yet. We do this instead of the bench because the bench will just put everything behind you, and then it's a lot more range of motion here, and then potentially a lot more compensation. So that'll be how you scale this first, all right? If you guys are capable of doing some lighter bands, but you can get like some reps in, like multiple reps to full range of motion, being the elbow is up higher than the shoulder in the bottom position, Then you guys can use band assistance as well, all right?
You can't do dips. You can't do dips.
All right, so if you have that full range of motion and control with band assistance, you're welcome to use band assistance. The way you would use the band is that you're gonna put one knee at a time. You can do both, but first things first, get one knee in there, right? And then as you get to that top, you can bring the other knee in just for some overall stability and keeping it balanced on both sides. Remember, top position, shoulders are pressing down, so I'm not getting much out of the band at all at this point, all right? So I need to be able to support myself if I'm gonna be doing dips with band assistance, all right? Then I'll lower myself, just like we were talking about, full range of motion, and press up, okay? For some of you, you won't be able to do this for those higher rep ranges because you'll start compensating. You'll go to shorter range of motion in order to execute reps, and that's not what we're looking for. We need to make sure that all reps are done to the same range of motion so you're getting long contractions out of the pec, which is one of the biggest movers in this, all right? And then on top of this, if you're lacking that control, because we're gonna go into some tempo work eventually, and when you get into tempo work, you need to have absolute control at all points during the range of motion, all right? And then finally, you can start doing it without the band at all, no assistance, full range of motion, add weight if you need to. Okay, when I do this full range of motion, remember, I'm trying not to just push my butt back and go like this, right? The reason I'm not doing that is because my shoulder never actually goes into full extension. So I'm making a shorter range of motion so that I can execute the movement, all right? Yes, it's allowed, but no, it doesn't help grow your shoulder's health, all right? As far as its ability to handle ranges of motion and develop strength in all ranges of motion. So I really, really can't emphasize that enough. Try not to bend forward excessively when you're doing your dips, all right? Stick with this stuff and be in the appropriate scale for you until you're feeling fully confident and competent in your ability to do it, and you can move forward from there. Don't rush these things, hold those proper techniques. Remember, shoulder stays down, especially at the top position, and then feel the movement happen in the pecs, deltoids, rhomboids, and triceps, all right? If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments.